So really quickly before I begin, I did want to show you this letter Marshall sent me yesterday that cracked me up. Calling Olivia. Ugh. Calling Olivia. You know what's a good way to get to know someone better? Send them a card. Like this. Let's see, where to start? Maybe I should tell you something about me that you don't know. Oh, I'm out of space. Hello and welcome back, my beautiful friends, to another video. Today we're going to be looking at all of the happy home paradise homes that I've done so far. Now obviously I have done a lot, so I will most likely turn this into a part 1 and part 2. I still haven't fully decided yet, but I definitely wanted to show you all of the ones I've done so far and tour them. So to begin, we're going to start off with Miss Eloise. Now I will say I have been going back and redoing some of the homes, not all of them, but I definitely wanted to come and just visit each one and just kind of show you each one that I've done. So first we have Eloise. This is everyone's first house when they first get the DLC, and when I did this I kind of went based off of kind of like colors that I felt really fit her and the weather that she was in. So I went with orange, hence why there's orange fence, peach trees, orange roses, and the brick pattern. And for her exterior, I just wanted something simple because literally it's just a little reading room. So I figured it fit really, really well with her theme. And then obviously going in, if you saw my first video, nothing has changed in here. I do like the simplicity of it, and I think it looks super duper cute. Maybe at some point in time, I'll extend the room, put some pillars in, put more of the partition walls in. I still haven't decided yet, but this is about what we got going on for Miss Eloise. Now, next on the list, we have Miss Mallory, who is the Mallard. Now, as you can see, I obviously haven't finished the outside yet, and that was my plan to get to sometime this next week. But Mallory was so cute, and she wanted a hot spring theme, and so that's why I thought that the winter time would be best. Because usually when I think of hot spring, I think of like being in Colorado or somewhere super, super cold, and you just went skiing, and after a long day, you just want to relax in your house with the hot spring. So obviously, as you can see, I have the hot spring towards the back corner right here, and I wanted to make it very zen, feel very zen vibes. And remember, this was the second house that I ever did, so I thought it was super cute and I loved the vibes. I kind of like the clutteredness of it while still looking very relaxing. And I think Mallory really likes it too. I love her little outfit that I put her in. She's so adorable. Now, next we have Miss Vivian, and she wanted a gym to dance it out. Now, this was my third home and the first house I ever did the exterior of, so I don't really know exactly what I was trying to go for. I guess like a fitness theme. I definitely think that at some point in time I'm going to redo that because, I don't know, I do like how simple it is with like the beach and what you would be doing if you were actually working out on the beach, but it is a little boring. And then as you can see on the inside, I definitely wanted something a little bit more disco-y, but I do like that I stick with the color theme pretty well. I stuck with some whites, clean black and whites, and I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty cluttered. But if you were gonna be at a gym, maybe like a, you know, apartment gym or a gym at a hotel, this is roughly what it would feel like, a little bit more cluttered, and Vivian is just going hard right now. Now, really quickly, I did want to include Deirdre in here, but I did want to let you guys know that I'm actually not going to be showing it just because I did do a video on it, and all of you are roughly familiar with what it looks like, so we're just going to be skipping the full tour and heading on to Bertha. Now, Bertha wanted a cozy baskets feel, and when I first thought of this, I thought summertime with the little picnic, and I just thought that this little space fits so well for her. It's very like neighborhoody, and I just loved the little picnic area that I did. I actually did create that little blanket that you see. I created the gingham and the little fringe that is on the end of them. And for the outside, I obviously wanted to keep it simple since the house is already simple. And Bertha is so cute. I absolutely love her colors. So I decided to kind of go for something a little bit more plain Jane, kind of like the outside. I did do almost all rattan. I did go with all rattan furniture because I liked the color that the turquoise had. I think it kind of matched her and it kind of matched the vibe of the room. And I really did love it. It was super simple. It had the baskety feel to it. And I think that's why I went with the rattan, because of the woven little pattern that you get whenever you see it. It kind of reminds me of a baskety feel. So I definitely think this was a good choice. Now, I will say Bob was the first villager from my island that I invited. Bob no longer lives on my island because I did let him move out. I didn't want to keep him as a permanent spot. Regardless, I invited him with these souvenir chocolates, and this is what he wanted. He wanted a blooming flower garden, and I thought the bright colors kind of fit him. You know, he is a bright purple with a red Hawaiian shirt, and so I thought that the bright colors and the small little space definitely fit him. And obviously, if you're going for more of blooming flowers, I had to include a lot of weeds and the bushes, and I definitely thought the pavilion looked really pretty here, and the little mom's garden in the corner. I liked the little colors they had in there. And then when you go inside, it's definitely screams greenhouse. I wasn't too sure what I wanted to go with this one, but I definitely think that this ended up looking really, really cool. I definitely used that little wooden, well, actually, those are simple panels that I turned into like wooden planks, and I definitely think it looks kind of cool. This definitely is a weird build, I'm not gonna lie, but I definitely think it fits Bob to the fullest. And the reason I say that is because he is a really random dude. I'm pretty sure he's a lazy. You can obviously correct me on that if I'm wrong. But I just feel like I could see him living in not a certain strict color theme with so many different colors of wood and this spunky flooring that you have with all the colors of the flowers. I definitely think that this fit Bob the best, and it just made most sense to me. Now, this next house was Mac's vacation home, and he wanted something called Camp Mac, which instantly screamed, obviously, camp vibes to me. I did kind of like the extra little steps and levels he had. I definitely thought that that was kind of cool, and it added more to the scenery. I feel like he would be higher up on like a mountains kind of vibe. And I loved the kid tents that were in it. I thought that was really fun. I also made that blanket down there. Obviously, there's simple stripe patterns, but I think the simple patterns are what make it look really pretty. And I just kind of wanted to go for campy vibes outside. And obviously, the exterior of his home has to be very cabiny, so I did darker colors with the little twig wreath. I thought that was so cute. And this was the first home that I could use partitions on, like actual wall partitions, and I can expand the space. So I did want to do that. You're probably like, what are all those things on the floor? So when I first did this, he did want to have some gym equipment in there because he is a jock, from what I assume. I mean, I don't know how he couldn't be, but I kind of wanted to make it still camping here. So I went with the cabiny feel of, with still the darker wood and the more like 70s table setting, with still having those workouts there. And when I was doing this, the floor in the center, I didn't want to put anything in the middle to kind of block the doorway, but it felt super empty. So I took these like white planks and I put them so randomly throughout the room, and I actually think it kind of ties it in and makes it feel a little bit more cozy. And I definitely think it was a really cool choice. And obviously we went in the fall time because who doesn't love camping in the fall? Now for this next one, I had Dell, the robotic crocodile, alligator, whatever you want to call him. Obviously, we had to be on the beach because he wanted a deep sea voyage. And there were so many cool oceany items that there were like for the shore, and it was so hard to pick, but I had to narrow it down. And I obviously don't have a super big space, but I definitely think that this was kind of cool, and I like how the ocean was right there. But his house is a little bit brighter colors, but still kind of beachy to me because I think he is a really unique character, and I think that he has a really cool just personality to him and the way he looks. But I did want to stick with a smaller interior because if you really think about it, ships are, I mean, they're big, but if you actually go in them, they're pretty small. So I did want to keep it pretty small, and I wasn't a super big fan of this, but it honestly is just because it wasn't my taste. But overall, I definitely think that it fit Dell's vibe, and I think that it all kind of tied in very nicely. Now, Bia was the second villager that I brought from my island, and she just wanted a super farmy theme. She wanted just florals and everything, so obviously I had to do just that. I gave her a space during cherry blossom season because I thought the colors kind of tied in nicely, and I picked my two favorite flowers, which are hyacinths and tulips, and I turned them into a rainbow garden with some vegetables and pumpkins in the back and some peach trees, because I feel like if she were to plant any tree, it would be peach trees. And she just looks so cute right now with her little flower in her hair and her little sweater. I put a little tractor and some pathing with some classic white picket fence and a super simple, super pretty exterior. I love the roof and the door and the paneling all together. I think it looks super nice, and I really enjoy the way that it turned out. And the inside was super fun. So obviously it was more of a greenhouse thing, so I didn't make it more of a home, more so just like a place where she keeps all of her plants and flowers. So we have the hanging vines, which might I say are probably my favorite item in this DLC. I love anything that hangs from the ceiling, whether it's the drapes, the vines that are hanging. I think they all look super nice. I did want to make it a little bit more country themed, so that's why I went with this kind of style of the little kitchen set, and I definitely think that it all turned out really, really good, and I definitely loved using these little partitions in the middle here. Now, next up, we have Mr. Phil, and he obviously, if you cannot tell, wanted a space themed. So obviously I had to make it at nighttime, and I went with darker colors for this because it's spacey themed. So I thought this exterior was very symmetrical but still really cool looking. I think it kind of fit his vibe of the space theme that he wanted. And in the backyard he has his little rocket ship and his little work desk for when he's doing all of his experiments and getting ready to go to space. His exterior was just super fun to play with. So obviously it wasn't super my style. I loved the wallpaper. I love how it's super realistic with how the camera moves and it's like you're actually in space. This was also the first house where I got different kind of little effects that you can do when you do polishing. And so I thought that was really fun. I kind of made it look like these pods were fresh out of someone coming out of them. Wait, what? So I made like the little steam coming off them. And then obviously with these machines, there's lots of noise, they're electronic. So I did these little like zigzaggy patterns, which I think looked really cool. And obviously my color theme stuck with pretty much blue, purple, some greens, some cooler colors, because I just feel like that's very spacey and it just makes most sense to me. So I'm not gonna lie when I say Bud's home is probably one of my least favorites, and that's no harsh to him. It was just really hard to find something that kind of went with this space, and it was just a weird theme overall, and he won't let me get down. But basically, I just kind of went with very, California volleyball tournament vibes, I guess. Like I said, the reason I sound like this is because I'm not a big fan of this one. It was honestly very random, and I just kind of like to ignore it, but obviously I'm showing you all the homes I've done so far, so we've got to be realistic with the bad ones and show you those. The inside was just, I don't even know what the inside is. I just kind of went with like a boxing beach arena. I don't know what else to describe this as. So Poppy's house gave me very much Disney themed. Like she wanted a plushy palace, I believe is what it was called. And hers just gave me like very Disney, very Beauty and the Beast, Sleeping Beauty, like I don't know what, but I loved the way hers turned out. I also made that blanket in the corner. Again, simple patterns, but just stuff that fits them, brighter colors, lots of pinks and lots of purples in this one. And her exterior is just like a very pastel pink, and I love the pink picket fence that you have. I think that's so cute. The inside is very Belle to me. It was super fun to kind of have the butterfly little polishing effect, and that was super cute. And obviously you got to have all the plushies with her. I love those little hanging chandeliers. They are very Beauty and the Beast because of the roses. Again, I keep saying that, but it's true. And obviously your girl's got to have KK Bubblegum in the background because that is my favorite KK song. It's probably a lot of people's favorite KK song. But I liked how cozy this one felt, even though there was still considerably a lot of space in it. Now Marshall, my favorite villager in the game, my favorite. He was the third that I invited from my island, and his was a cafe cozy vibe. Now, as you can clearly tell, if I'm going for a cafe cozy, I definitely wanted it to be winter because you're like outside and you're super cold, and then you walk inside and you just have this absolute beautiful cafe. And I went with the decorated trees, acting like it's like Christmas time or something, and the inside was just super vibey. Darker cafe, hearts everywhere because everything here is made with love, and the drapes, like I said, the drapes are my favorite. The colors with this one, I kind of went with woodsy, a little bit more retro-y with some stuff, and some white. I didn't want to keep it super like weird or anything, and I like how dark it is in here. I like the nighttime winter vibes that went into it, and it was definitely one of my more favorite builds, and I was very happy with this one. Okay, forget what I said about Bud. I don't even know how to say this villager's name. You dumb idiot. It's literally Hippeux. I'm actually really disappointed because this one is like a cool art studio, and as I'm an art major, I was very offended with the products they gave me. I was just like, I don't even know where to start because one, this villager is one of the ugliest villagers. No body shame, nothing like that. He is just not an attractive color. He looks like Shrek as a hippo, and I'm just not a fan. So the inside of his house just represents what he looks like to me in my mind. This is clearly a hate crime house, if anything, because I was just not having fun with it. But I will say that an artist's mind is very cluttered. There is just no way that it can go. Me now realizing also that that shelf is backwards. And guess what? Don't care. Gonna leave it that way. But I just want to say that this was not one of my favorite homes. Didn't like it at all. Nope, just not a fan. So Tangy is one of my top favorite villagers in this game. Now, when I say that I was a little bit disappointed to find her in the DLC and not on a villager hunt to come to my island, it was pretty sad. But she wanted a vivid home. She wanted something very full of colors, just like her, and she is a fun, spunky, peppy, so obviously we're gonna give her just that. I wanted to make it like close to sundown because I did want these floor lights to kind of pop up and look really cool, but it was kind of hard to figure out what to do, so I just did like kind of an orange grove over the bridge, and I left like some tables and chairs outside with a cute little tricycle in case she wants to go travel and see her friends. Obviously the exterior is yellow and orange to kind of fit her and the vivid vibe she wanted, and the inside I very much struggled with what to do because I just had no idea, but I kind of went with like a 70s because that's what the wallpaper was giving me. So we have classic wooden furniture, and I don't know about you, but that couch screams 70s to me. And I put her little corner over here of like her little bedroom space. I just thought that was really cute and that this fit Tangy the most. So actually, now that I'm thinking back on it, Stu was the second home that I ever did. And I did redo it because his little roomie Mr. Big Top wanted to join him, so obviously he just wanted like, I think just a simple cabiny feel, so that's what I did. I left the outside like super natural, super simple, and gave the dark color with like the green roof and the red door. I think that was just very cabiny to me with still some bright colors of the both of them. And since this was the first roommate, and I think this is the only roommate home that I've done so far, I separated their rooms and I made it very tailored to them. So on this side of the room, I already had Stu's kind of little side. I kind of kept it very simple and kind of how it was before, just a little bit more condensed. And then for Big Top side, holy mommy, he is like the most outrageous boy. I had him as a villager on my old island for a very short period of time, and I was not a fan of him. No offense, but it was kind of hard to combine these two. They are a little bit different in a sense of what they want, so it was a little bit more difficult, but I still think that it turned out super cool, and this is what I would kind of see roommates having. Now, Ketchup is also one of those villagers where I wish I got them on my island and not Happy Home Paradise. But she wanted speaking of paradise, she wanted a tomato vibes, which, who can blame her? She's literally named Ketchup, so we just stuck with red. Red was the first thing I thought of whenever I did this. So obviously I had to throw in basically a tomato garden patch, whatever you want to call it, just full of tomatoes. And I stuck with some red mums because mums are one of my favorite flowers in the game. And the cute little radio with the boxes because obviously she's making ketchup or tomato juice or whatever her heart desires to make with tomatoes. And then we have the apple trees. And for her house, I just wanted to do like almost like a Barney feel. Not like Barney the purple dinosaur, like barn with the red and the white. I think that looks super cute. And the inside is just like very diner red. So when you walk in, it's supposed to feel overwhelmed with red. And like I said, every cafe has hearts because it's made with love. And everything is just red. I mean, she wanted kind of a retro diner. Well, I don't know if she wanted that, but with the stuff that she gave me, that's what it felt like. And obviously I wanted to keep the diner vibes, but have her little bedroom in the bottom corner. I don't know why I decided to do that, but I just thought that, you know, she's a working girl, but she lives in her diner and she's just doing what she needs to do to thrive, like the queen boss she is. Now, I chose this little monkey dude because I think you say his name is Tian Shang. Listen, I'm not going to say his name because I really don't want to embarrass myself or offend anyone. So we're just going to call him Little Monkey Dude. But I chose him because he is one of the newest villagers within the 2.0 update. And he wanted a peach paradise. Now, with that, I kind of wanted to stick to the things that they gave me, which was very Japan and serene Sen vibes. So I went with the sand path. And I went with the Imperial fence, the little Zen bridge, and just a lot of the Imperial furniture that went with this. I felt really tied in. It looked really nice. And I also put some little glowing moss stuff because I feel like I would actually see that if I ever went to Asia or Japan or wherever. I don't know why. I just feel like I would see that. And going inside the house, I stick with more Imperial furniture than the peach idea. So maybe he didn't get what he wanted, but I did love that big rug. I thought it looked super cute. And the little bamboo partitions I thought looked really cool. Went with like this hot spring vibe because I thought that was kind of cool in the corner. And then the Imperial bedding, which is one of probably the best items in the game. It's just so beautifully made. Like it looks so pretty. And this is also when I first got the pillars and the like leveled little I think they're like island counter things. So I kind of wanted to throw those in there as well. Now I promise the light is almost at the end of the tunnel with these homes. But next we have Hopper. He wanted like a lifeguard situation. So obviously we had to go with the beach. Kept the outside super plain Jane and simple. Hopper is one of the more unique characters in the game. I think he's a really cool villager he's like, I think one of, if not the only macaroni penguin in the game. So yeah, you're thinking the same thing I am when you first look in here. It's like, what? I kind of wanted to make it like hospital themed, but like you're like, why is there dripping effects? Whenever I think of this, it's kind of like if you ever were at the beach and somehow you got an injury, which this has never happened to me before, but if it has, let me know, because this is probably not what you would expect. But you're like out on the beach and he's a lifeguard and someone needs help, medical help, and they come in here and this is where they would stay. So they're probably like wet from the beach or they're sweaty and gross, and don't even ask what I was thinking with this because I have no idea. Now, Sherb was the fourth villager that I invited from my island. I really do love Sherb. He is one of the cutest lazies in the game. He is just, I could just see him as like a cute little kid with a little lisp. But he wanted an amusement park themed, and so I went the rope fencing because that's like the only thing you see whenever you go is like the lines. And I went with pastel because I felt it kind of matched his same light blue color to his little fur. And all the houses look pretty similar to me, but I kind of like that. I don't want them to look too different because sometimes if you mix colors, they look a bit weird. So he was also the first home that I did 2 floors on. So the bottom floor is kind of like when you walk in to a little kids amusement park, like little cafe sort of vibe. I went with a lot of tables, a lot of bright colors, the little they're not mobiles, but the little strings with like the flowers, the bow tie, the little dots and beads and stuff I thought was so cute and just very playful. And then when you go upstairs, it's more of like his home. So, well, obviously the whole thing's his home, but more of his space. So we have like a kitchen area and a little couch and a tiny little bathroom in the corner and his little bedroom over here. And I think that it kind of just made it all tie in. It was very hard with the color scheme on this one just because if you're going for kind of pastel colors, but yet it was just a little bit more difficult. This definitely didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it to go. A lot of the things are clashing, and I definitely will most likely redo this in the future. But with what I had in the game at the time, it wasn't my favorite. You're probably looking at this and thinking like, ugh, yeah, I'm thinking the same thing looking at it now. So definitely going to be changed in the future. So for Maple's home, we have Silas here.
How's it going, guys?
Really, really quickly, Maple wanted like a bungalow kind of style, so I went like a lot of bears, and obviously she's like one of the cutest villagers in the game, so I wanted to make it very berry and very cabiny and very homey. What do you think of the outside, Si?
I like it. It's very, cabiny, foresty.
And I went with like this time of day because it had like the fog, and I thought that kind of tied in nicely. So the darker colors, I went for the outside. As you know, I usually do that for cabins just because I feel like darker cabins just fit more of the foresty vibe. And the inside was one of my favorites. So this one's kind of 60s, 70s with the wooden kind of colors, and then the yellow. I loved the flooring and the wallpaper together. It was very, she's sitting on the chair. She's so cute. But I wanted a little kitchen area, and I saw a picture on Instagram with that kind of like little nook, the little book nook against the wall, and I thought that was so cute with the little like half things. I don't know what they're called. So I put a kid's tent in the corner because I thought that was very kind of childish and also like playful with the bear themed. And I think all the colors really tie in together and make it look very cute. For the last home on the list, we have sweet Agnes. Agnes is a sisterly villager, and I think sisterly is one of the most interesting personality types in this game because, well, I'm not a fan of really any of the sisterly villagers, but Agnes is pretty cute because she's like a black little pig. I wasn't actually expecting to do Agnes in this one. I think everyone also does her because I didn't choose to do her. Like I said, I love Agnes, so I would have probably chosen her anyways. But we had to do a museum sort of thing, so I kind of thought like very scenic, very pretty. So that's why I went with the waterfall themed, and I'm pretty sure this is in the springtime. And I had no idea what to do for the inside because they gave us so much stuff and it had to be like a museum, but I don't even know where to begin. So I just thought what I see at museums, which they're not this dark, but I kind of went with it anyways. Usually when I'm at museums, you see like, you know, a little table full of macaroons and cupcakes and art everywhere. So I had the statue there. I had the little seating areas against the wall up front, the little fountain, and then I had just like, I had a little chair over here that I thought was really cool, and then all the display cases. Like I said, this is a really weird thing to turn into a vacation home is museums. So it was very difficult to find something fitted to the criteria, but I will say this is not my best work, nor will it ever be. It's just not that good. So I was going to go to my school and my kitchen that I did in my restaurant, but I decided to just show you these photos. So I came up with Paradise High because I liked the paradise in Paradise Planning. So I thought when I did the high school, I could just do Paradise High. Simple school. I made Eloise the teacher because she would be a bomb teacher, just saying. And then for the restaurant, I just went with Paradise Kitchen. Very simple, something you would actually hear if you visited the beach. I made Bia the waitress. I made Poppy the hostess, which was a very bad decision because the counter is taller than she is, so you can't see her when you first walk in. And then I made Phil the head chef, and then Bob the intern or the apprentice. So definitely fun, definitely interesting, and I just feel like the facilities are fun to decorate, but I will probably be redoing the kitchen. The kitchen was not my favorite. I did love the school though, so I'm probably going to stick with the school on how I did that. I've never done an outro with you in the room before.
Let's hear it.
Thank you guys for watching the video. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and comment down below anything that you liked, that you want to see, and thumbs up obviously tells me that you like the content that I'm putting out. Anyways, thank you guys for watching.